everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to bring you a first impression and review of the Stellar Beauty Limitless Foundation. I am in the shade S15. Now, Stellar Beauty is a brand new makeup line available at Sephora. They also carry concealers and powders, and they have a very large range, like when it comes to skin tones, within their foundation. I believe the maker of the company said that she wanted this to be focused on primarily people with medium to tan skin tones, just because there is a large variety in that spectrum that is usually missed with other makeup lines. So I'm going to try out this foundation and wear it throughout the day and come back and check in and let you know how it's worn. So looking at the information on Sephora, it says that the coverage of this foundation is supposed to be sheer. It's for normal combo skin types, and it's radiant, so that's great because I always love a dewy foundation. It's an oil-free, innovative, highly pigmented, medium coverage foundation that lets you build to full coverage where it's needed. It features an array of universal colors for all skin tones, focusing on medium toned skin with well-calibrated and extensive shades in the medium range. Incredibly lightweight, it provides natural looking all day wear and a radiant finish. This buildable formula smooths on like a second skin, concealing discoloration and hyperpigmentation. The result is a transformation that appears professionally retouched. It is formulated without parabens, sulfates, and phthalates. And what else you need to know is this product is vegan, cruelty-free, and free of fragrance. This carries 1.01 ounces of foundation, and it retails for $38 at Sephora. So it does provide 0.01 ounces of fluid extra than most brands sold at Sephora, and it is reasonably priced in comparison to things like Hourglass and Giorgio Armani. So we're going to go ahead and apply this foundation and see how it applies, and hopefully it's a perfect skin match. I kind of just went off of like the description, and once again, this is the shade S15, and I believe Almond is the name of it. It comes in a very sleek rectangular packaging with a chunky top. This reminds me of like the Nars All Day Luminous foundation, like with the glass and the chunky top. Pull it off, and it comes with a pump. And I have only moisturized my face. I moisturized it with my Origins Drink Up Intensive Overnight Mask. This is like my everyday moisturizer, but I have not primed my face. I'll be applying it with my beauty blender. And I'm just going to pump on 2.5 pumps to the butt of the beauty blender, and I'm just going to go in, dab it there. It does have a somewhat strong fragrance to it. I don't know if you can tell, but it covered up my pigmentation quite well. I have like I have some darkness right here from a mask that I put on, and it like burned my skin. The way that this foundation is applying and going on really reminds me of the L'Oreal True Match foundation. And it's also quite similar to like the Nars All Day Luminous. Now that is 2.5 pumps worth of foundation. It managed to cover up my whole face. It is very luminous, and it is not drying down. It's pretty sticky. So I would recommend using a setting powder. And also, it isn't too full coverage. Like, you can see a little bit of unevenness to the skin. However, it does a really good job at covering up redness and acne in general. So I'm just going to go ahead and add in just one more pump and divide it evenly between the cheeks and see if that provides a little bit more coverage. And yes, it does provide a lot more coverage. As you can see, it's covering up a whole lot more than before. I'm just going to add whatever is left on the Beauty Blender to the forehead. Now, as I'm looking at myself in person, this foundation is beginning to oxidize, so you may want to get a shade lower. I'm an NC44, but I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is starting to really get orange and darker on my skin. But hopefully concealer can kind of fix that up. I'm just going to go off camera and finish the rest of my face, and I'll be back to let you know how it takes on all that makeup. Alright, so I've gone ahead and done my completed face off camera. Now, this foundation is very natural looking. It looks like my skin, but better. And it did pile on product very nicely, and it didn't cake up too much. Now let's... As you can see, the texture is very skin-like. The highlight isn't too chunky on the skin. The bronzer and blush blended flawlessly into the foundation. This is very luminous. I can already kind of start to see like a glow coming about my skin. The foundation did not cake up after I put on powder. And it's very skin-like. Like, it matches my skin tone relatively nicely. I could have gone down a shade. But other than that, I don't see any problems. It isn't separating at my smile or nose lines right here. It's looking pretty nice. So I will check back in later today to let you know how this is holding up. And then we can reach our final verdict on this product. It's currently 4:18. It's been about 2.5 hours since I applied this foundation. I know I didn't show you guys the time when I was done. Forgot to, but it is 4:18 right now. Foundation doesn't seem to have changed at all, actually. Just a tiny bit of separation around the nose, but nothing too major, and it actually looks more like my skin now than it did before. It's like starting to like sink into the skin now and just like take in the natural oils of the skin. I didn't have to blot. It's like 95 degrees out, and we went grocery shopping and we had the windows down the whole time, and honestly this foundation has held up so well. So my final thoughts on this foundation is that it is an amazing, luminous, lightweight foundation, perfect for everyday wear, and if you don't have too much going on the skin, just because I did see that my hyperpigmentation was peeking through with one layer of foundation. It is very buildable and you have to set it. But other than that, I don't have any qualms on it. I believe that this may be my new go-to everyday kind of foundation. The foundation shade match was a little off, but that can always be fixed with lighted concealer and whatnot. It is a reasonable price, $38 for 1.01 ounces. I would definitely go in store to figure out your shade and compare with other formulas before buying this. I am a dry skin tone, and this was catered to normal combo, so it does work for someone with dry skin tones. I don't know if it'll work for someone with oily skin tone, just because this has a luminous kind of dewy finish. So you may have to set it and use a mattifying primer beforehand. But I highly recommend this for anyone looking for something to wear every day, something lightweight, breathable, skin-like. So yeah, I really love this foundation, and I would say I would give it a 9 out of 10. So if you enjoyed this first impression kind of check-in review of the Stellar Beauty foundation, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.